Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza Horizon 2 with another rally car build. My vehicle today, it is the Porsche Macan. Going to be having a go with the big off-road SUV car. Now these may sound like a silly thing to put out against the sports cars and so on that have gone around here before, but certainly in the silly car build the SUVs actually fared really well. Around the rally course, the Jeep Wagoner is so far the fastest one, 1 minute 1.3, but they are still relatively competitive. On times, that's a very crowded part of the table. The Jeep ended up in, but they can still be pretty damn fast because while yes they are heavy, they are often a little bit more stable. So it kind of evens itself out, and they can often have a lot of power. The Shelby Raptor, for example, while yes is a big heavy truck, it had something about 900 horsepower in it. So yeah, I don't quite know how much power we're going to get out of the Porsche. As far as the mandatory parts go, well, it starts off as four-wheel drive, so we don't have to worry about changing the drive line. The other stuff that we do have to have, the off-road tyres that are going to add a fair amount of PI. We do start off quite a high PI for this vehicle, sort of mid-ish A-class. By the time we're done with these mandatory parts, the tyres, the gearbox and the suspension, we're going to, almost be out of A-class. Okay. We may not have as much room to play around with parts as I was expecting, because the big thing that we are going to want to do, of course, is, brakes. Definitely going to want brakes, yes. We will we will have brakes on you. We'll have all of these. We're going to want all of the handling bits we can get our hands on. Race anti-roll bars, front and rear. Now, weight is the issue here. You can see it's 4,200 pounds at the moment. We're going to take out as much weight as we can. I would like you to take out, well, if we could take out 2,500 pounds, that'd be nice, but we're not going to. It's only down to 3,300. That is quite heavy. It is going to be quite a heavy vehicle. I was hoping that may have taken out a little bit more. I'm also thinking we may want to go for this. Now, it's going to be a heavy car whatever I do with it. By putting in the chassis reinforcement and so on, this being a big off-road vehicle, I'm thinking, originally it is a modern one, but I'm thinking with this, we may just get a bit better chassis, we may get a bit better handling from the car. I wouldn't do if it was a sports car, but being a big off-roader, I think we're going to want to. Also, it has dropped the PI by a fair bit, so we can potentially get more parts on it. You know, I'm gonna go with that. Tyres. Yes, tyre widths, of course. I was so busy worrying about weight. We want big tyres, please. Actually, because they look pretty sizable tyres to begin with. What do we get? 295s to start with, and it will go up to 315s. They're decent. That's not too shabby. Okay, they're not quite the largest tyres we've seen, but that is some decent size tyres on the back of the Porsche, which is good for the grip. Front tyres are also going to get 295s at the front. That's also pretty impressive. Also, is there a camera on the front? I'm pretty sure that's a camera on the. Has someone taped a GoPro to the front of my Porsche to film this? What is that? Is that supposed to? I don't like. I know some of these SUVs have fancy cameras that will like film. Is it the Land Rover has the cameras like in the wheel arch, so when you go off road you can see it, and you can see there's sort of parking sensors around the back. I don't know what the front camera is for. Or I assume that's what it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. It looks suspicious. Whatever it is. Anyway, tyres. Oh, I don't think I actually remember to select them. Yes, definitely bought them. Did I definitely buy the rear ones? I did definitely buy the rear ones. I got too distracted with a bloody camera, or potentially a camera. Other handling parts. Yeah, we're gonna want aero. I don't think doesn't look like there's any crazy parts for the Porsche. We'll go for. Look at the size of that splitter or diffuser, whatever you want to call it. The amount of carbon fibre that has gone into making that is impressive. Yep, we will go for all of these. I'd want it to handle as well as possible. Also, just looking at the back of this car, are we going to have a silly rear wing? Please have a silly rear wing. It is. It's one of the good old double spoilers. These there were lots of these in Forza 4. They fell out of favour for 5. There was a lot more sensible spoilers in Forza 5. A few still had these double wings. Fantastic! It is back for the Macan. We're getting into S1 class. I haven't really touched the engine yet. That's a little concern. As far as weight goes, we're probably going to want a driveline, aren't we? That's £30 we can chuck out of it for a couple of PI. So sure, we'll go with that. We'll have to go for the differential as well. Now, engine parts. Exhaust first to lose some more weight. It's still quite heavy, but this is gonna have to do. It's gonna be heavy, whatever I do. This can often chuck out a fair bit of weight as well. Yeah, down to 3,448. Now, what else do we go for? I don't really want to touch. Don't really want to go turbos here because it just adds another £40 onto or around £40 onto the weight of the car. I think we'd probably be better off getting that power out of this that doesn't add the weight to it. 523 horsepower, 687 on the torque. That's not too shabby. I'm guessing none of these are going to fit in S1 class. I think they're all going to add too much power. Indeed, they are. Okay, now option-wise, we could go for a flywheel. That drops another £6 out of the car. 3,442. Yeah, we'll go with a flywheel since we've already done the drive lines. That will do. That'll do for me. Okay, so the vehicle is not got as much power as I wanted from it, or perhaps slightly expected from it. Normally, the big SUVs, a car that's this heavy, I'd expect to get more power out of it. But it's not. I mean, we had the FairLace Z. Admittedly, the FairLace Z didn't drive very well because it had tiny tyres, but that had 500 horsepower. And it was £1,000, more than £1,000 less than this car. So, although that does give me one promising aspect, is that if we've already got this power and torque and so on for this weight, it might be actually quite a good handling car. Think of it that way, Ram. This may actually be quite a good handling vehicle. I shall live in hope that the Macan will drive quite nicely. In all honesty, the SUVs have tended to drive. They've been fairly easy to drive around here. They've been okay speed-wise, but they've all tended to be pretty easy to drive. Right, Forest Brawl circuits somewhere in here. Oh, I'm doing all of the things wrong. Right, there we go. Found the bugger. It's not my day today. We've got 5 laps around this circuit to go as fast as possible. The current leader, a Lamborghini Countach, holds a time of 59.289. Now, I don't think we will see this challenging at the very top of I would be amazed if this was challenging the cars at the top of the leaderboard. Suddenly, the fastest SUV, the Jeep Wagoner, a 1 minute 1.3. I think this could go faster. I think we will struggle with straight line speed. We may even potentially see this into the 1 minute. I think we're going to lose quite a lot of time. A lot of straight line speed we will probably be struggling. It's just not going to quite have the acceleration of the other vehicles that have gone. But it's got decent sized tyres. Yes, it is heavy, but we have got some decent sized tyres. It's actually that's amazing through turn 1. That's really fast through turn 1. We got very, very sideways through turn 2. That's not what we want to be doing. But this does not drive like a big SUV. It's actually quite remarkable how well this gets around here. This isn't quite what I was. Oh, okay. I wanted to turn in, and then the back end sort of was feeling like it was going. I kind of panicked ever so slightly, and ended up not really turning in at all for the corner. So yeah, that was kind of terrible. We are fantastically fast up there as well. This is not drive like at all how I expected. The Macan is really good to drive. What is going on here? It's got not much of the straight line speed, I will be honest, and I suspect a little bit of a heavy hit on the front. The fastest car's been doing about 140 miles an hour by the end of this straight. I have a sneaking suspicion it's only about 130. It was a bit of a hit on the ground. I also think 6th gear is perhaps not a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't bother with 6th here. But that's yeah, okay. We lack straight line speed. We knew that was likely to be a problem. But holy crap, it handles lovely through these turns. It is so nice to drive. It is a tad oversteery from my personal. Geez, that 103 through that. That's fast. That's up there on par with anything that's gone around this circuit. I think the Countach was 103, 104 miles an hour through there. It's so fast at that corner there as well. It's about 100 miles an hour I'm taking through that turn. Get it out of the final turn as neat as we can. Yeah, we were kind of on par with some of the fastest vehicles that have gone around here, and we just lose it on that acceleration. It's just not quite got the speed out of the turn. This is going to be a mentally fast first lap. 1 minute point. I said it might get into the 1 minute. I didn't expect it to get into a 1 minute 3 on the first flying lap with this car. This is an incredible vehicle. Okay, now try and be neat Be as neat as you can through here and don't let it get away from you. Don't let it start sliding, I think, is something. I've got a little bit wide, although I can now hopefully get a good run out of the turn. There we go. We're going to hit this jump and then line it up again. 102, 103 miles an hour through there is incredible. We're still having issues with bouncing around a little bit. This is where we can make up some serious time if we get it right. The thing with look at that. That's no other car can do that because this has got. It's designed to go off-road. I can run the inside of that corner, and it doesn't affect it. If I do that with a lot of the cars that I build here, we've seen it with a few cars, you hit that inside mound of dirt almost, and it's just going to throw the car around. You will lose all speed or spin. This, it just doesn't. You can just hit that and carry the corner speed, and you are okay. Right, again, slow it down for turn one. I think fourth gear may be better than third through there. It was a very similar lap time around that one, I think. Didn't beat it, but it was around the same place. Oh, that was a bit close to the trees. I don't want to do that one again. That was pushing it a little bit too much. Okay, we will now try and keep that speed up through here again. It's remarkably consistent through there. It does cause me a few issues on the way out. We're carrying so much speed. This is getting quite a lot of air time up here. Right, let's try and. Oh, I've tipped in too much. Oh no, that's not going to go. That's not going to end well. I tried to be a little too brave that time. I think it was a little bit too wide on the way in, and the bumps threw me sideways, and we weren't going to be catching that. Ooh, can I get it into the 59s? That would be a task and a half for the Macan. I don't know. That first lap was pretty damn fast. Or the first flying lap was pretty damn fast. I'll put it into sixth. I didn't want to do that. We are. It's not really a good first corner. We are around it. It's a slightly shonky line through there. We're sliding again. There is just a little bit of oversteer. If there wasn't oversteer, if there wasn't just that, it just starts sliding around. Yeah, again on the exit there. I would just like it a little bit more. I could feel like I could push it a little bit more. We've actually lost it on the bumps down there now and lost all of the momentum through this section. I can't. Once you get it wrong through one part, I cannot gather it up again. We've lost a huge amount of time. Yeah, I'm just going to run the banking there. I'm not going to go quicker. Lost too much time on this particular lap. The Macan though is. I am astounded just how well this thing drives. It doesn't feel like a £3,500 SUV. It really doesn't. It's incredibly composed through the corners. It's almost as far. I think it's exactly the same speed as the Cayman through that bottom corner down there, and the second to last corner as well. I don't think I've driven a car that takes that corner as well as this does. It's so good through that particular turn. It has the ground clearance to deal with it and the grip to carry the speed. That is mighty impressive. It just doesn't have the acceleration. On a couple of them laps, you saw I was right with the fastest lap times coming around that final corner, and then we lose all of it by the time we get to the finish line. It just loses out on the straight line speed, which is, let's face it, not surprising because we only have 500 odd horsepower in this car and it weighs 1,000 pounds more than a lot of the cars that are at the top of the table. But still, I am massively impressed with how well this car drives. A 1 minute 0.3 puts it into 10th place. It goes 10th just behind, only fractionally behind, a Ford GT40. It beats a Subaru Impreza, Tesla Model S, Mitsubishi Evo 6. I wasn't expecting it to go that quickly. It is by far the fastest SUV I've driven around this course, and while I don't particularly like SUVs, and sort of just these kind of cars in general, this is a damn good driving one. I will give it that. But there we go. That is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And until next time, goodbye.